Caribbean tourism looking up, and in sport, West Indies fast bowler Shannon Gabriel suspended for 4 ODIs. I'm Ricardo Roberts and this is Caribbean in 10 for Wednesday, February 13. I'll be back with the details after the break.
As I say to persons all the time, working in wines and spirits, you work morning and evening. It's a 24-hour job. And so my 12 years is 24. And so having also traveled all over the world and seen how bartenders and mixologists are revered, they are respected, I said, you know what, we can do it here in Jamaica as well.
What is it that we know for a fact, not fiction, uncorroborated, that this president has done that's criminal, unethical, and that would lead to him being impeached?
We have no final resolution on anything like that at present. It's just allegations out there. And that is why, to reach closure, the House has to perform an educational function here. That is perhaps the most important element of the House and the Senate here.
The Caribbean Tourism Organization, the CTO, is reporting that regional tourism is on the upswing despite the first decline in international tourist arrivals in 2018. Acting Director of Research at the CTO, Ryan Skeet, gave this assessment at the organization's annual news conference this morning. He told reporters that overall, the Caribbean recorded 29.9 million visitors in 2018. This was the second highest on record after 30.6 million in 2017. According to Skeet, there was about a 2.3% decline in arrivals last year. It was a better performance than the 3 to 4% decline that happened or that had been anticipated. And even the destinations that were severely impacted by the 2017 hurricanes and registered overall double-digit declines last year saw triple-digit increases during the 4 months of the year. Now, 2 days after the burials of 22 Haitians who drowned while attempting to enter the Bahamas by sea earlier this month, the 18 who survived the ordeal have been charged with illegally entering the country. 17 men and 1 woman appeared before Magistrate Cara Turnquest Deview yesterday, telling her they were looking for a better life when they got on the 40-foot vessel. So far, 31 bodies had been recovered, but the authorities said that 9 were in such poor condition they were buried in Abaco. Magistrate Turnquest Deview thanked the survivors for their early plea of guilt and turned them over to immigration officials for processing. The Department of Immigration said there would be no special treatment for survivors. Last week, Foreign Affairs Minister Darren Henfield said that Nassau has repeatedly warned of the dangers associated with the illegal migration by sea to the Bahamas. CARICOM is concerned about violence in Haiti, where opposition parties have been staging street demonstrations demanding the resignation of President Jovenel Moïse. CARICOM chairman and St. Kitts Nevis Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris said the regional integration grouping is calling for calm and an end to the violence that has resulted in the loss and life and property destruction of infrastructure and caused grave distress. Now, CARICOM has appealed to all involved to engage in constructive dialogue and to respect the Constitution, the rule of law, and democratic process so that issues can be resolved in a peaceful atmosphere and a state of normalcy can be returned to the French-speaking Caribbean nation. Now, several Western countries have condemned the acts of violence and called for constructive and inclusive dialogue to identify and implement realistic and lasting solutions to the political and economic problems. And religious leaders in Haiti also called on citizens to come together to find a solution to the unrest. Jamaicans are being warned of a possible outbreak of the influenza virus. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says hospitals across the island are faced with a list of people who was admitted as a result or was waiting to be admitted as a result. Now, he said the authorities have recorded an increase in cases over the past 2 weeks. We get more in this TVJ News report.
to deal with the dengue outbreak, the Health Minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, said no efforts will be spared to bring that virus under control, but at the same time, he seems to have his hands full. The flu virus is now gripping the country.
We are bordering on an outbreak of this particular type of influenza. And what it means, we're seeing it manifesting itself in the A&E, where a number of persons are turning up with upper respiratory issues, persons who have to be admitted, which is amplifying the problem of shortage of beds. And so there are probably 8 or 9 hospitals now, looking at the data up to yesterday, where you have 10, 15, 20, 30 persons waiting to be admitted with these symptoms.
The parishes most affected so far are Kingston and St. Andrew, Trelawney, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth and Portland, but not wanting to be caught flat-footed with the flu outbreak, the health minister appealed to the public to take precautions.
And stay with us, your Midday Sport is next. West Indies fast bowler Shannon Gabriel will miss the majority of the upcoming ODI series after the International Cricket Council suspended him for breaching the code of conduct. In a release on Wednesday, the ICC said Gabriel was found guilty of breaching Article 2.13, which relates to personal abuse of a player, player support personnel, umpire or match referee during an international match following an incident with England captain Joe Root. Now, the ICC said Gabriel admitted to the offence after the final test match against England on Tuesday and accepted the sanction proposed by Jeff Crow of the Emirates ICC elite panel of match referees. Now, Gabriel, who was already sanctioned within the last 24 months, was given an additional fine of 75% of his match fee. The fast bowler already had 5 demerit points for 2 earlier incidents and 3 demerit points during the Jamaica test against Pakistan in April 2017 and 2 demerit points in the Chittagong test against Bangladesh last November. And Barbados will host the 2019 International Badminton Tournament in August. And Sports Minister John King says he's thrilled to welcome the best of regional players to the island's shores. Some international players are also expected to participate in the August 15th to 29th affair, since this is an Olympic qualifying year. Minister King says the tournament, also known as KBACO, is sanctioned by the Badminton World Federation and is therefore open to all countries to participate. Badminton grew in Barbados in the early 80s, and the country was first represented regionally in 1985. That's Caribbean in 10. Join us again at 6:30 for Caribbean Newsline. Good afternoon.